Would you like to know how our habits formed? And if you get to know that, I'm sure how it is going to help you. It will start giving you ideas about leaving those habits which may not be very helpful to you, and at the same time start creating those habits which will make your life much better. So let us first look at why are habits formed. Before I go to how are they formed, why are they formed? So there are two ideas that I want to share with you here. First one is habit formation is a very scientific process adopted by the brain. What do I mean by that? Habit formation reduces the workload on your brain. Habit formation happens because the brain does not want to reinvent the wheel every single time you have to do a task. Whether it is eating your food or brushing your teeth or writing something or how to start your laptop or any such thing. So once you do anything repetitively, now the brain records all this and creates shortcut so that it doesn't have to process the same information again and again. Like when let's say you have to go by car to some place, you know how to open the door, you know how to start the car, you know how to put the gears in and start driving. And in no time, you are at the new place. And imagine if for every action that you're performing from going from place A to place B, you have to think about every action, how to do that, how to do that, how to do that. You will unnecessarily be stressing yourself. And that's why habits are formed. It's a brain function. Second important thing to understand here is another reason to start forming the habits is that you have resources in surplus. And your habits are formed to consume those resources because those resources need to be consumed. And the most important of that resource that influences your habits is time. Morning before you leave for the office or for work, you have some time available. Evening when you come back from work, before you go to bed, you have some time available. And that time needs to be consumed in a certain way. And understand this, if you are not conscious about that, that time will get consumed in a certain way, and if you do that repetitively, habit is formed. Similarly, you can look at another resource, which is money. You have surplus money, and if you are not using it in the right way, you will start using it, and in no time, your money will start going to the same source of expense, and that becomes a habit. So this is how habits are formed. This is why habits are formed. Now let us understand how they are formed so that you can understand how to break that at any point. So the first important thing that happens is that there is a trigger in the environment. And let me take the example of a mobile phone. Mobile phone rings and that's a trigger. Or there is a beep in the mobile phone, that's a trigger that some message has come, some notification has come. Now after the trigger takes place, what starts happening to you? You feel like responding, you feel like attending to that trigger. If there is a ring in the bell, you want to pick the phone. Even if you are doing something very important, you are eating your food with the entire family and your phone lying a little distance away rings, you get tempted to attend to that. If there is a notification beep, maybe at that moment you may not attend, but immediately after finishing the food, you may feel like attending to it. So there is a trigger, then it creates a temptation, a desire to attend to that trigger. So you attend to that trigger. Now let us go to the next step. Now you attend to that trigger. Phone call, you attend to that phone call, and let's say there is someone who you love to talk to, that person is on the other side. So you get a reward for attending to that trigger. So this is the sequence. There is a trigger, you feel like attending to that trigger, then you actually attend to that trigger, and then there is a kind of reward that you get. After attending to that call, you feel very good. Now, similarly, any such cue may trigger a response in you. And if you respond to that, and if you keep on responding to that again and again, what's likely to happen? There comes a time, the moment trigger comes, you immediately get into action, and that is what is called habit formation. And many times you will notice those habits which are getting formed may not be very functional. Let us say that you are sitting in front of TV and you start watching TV, and there is some debate going on, or there is some movie going on, and you like the movie, you like the debate, and in no time 1 hour passes in that, or if it's a movie it's a little longer, maybe 2 hours pass in that, and you suddenly realize, oh my God, so much time has passed. And if something similar happens again and again, that's what is habit formation. So how do you pay attention to whether habits are functional or not? The only thing that can help you is, one, being aware as to where your time is going, being aware how your resources are getting committed. And you are the best judge whether your resources are getting committed in the right direction or not so right direction. And after you become aware, obviously you have a new choice opening up for you, either to engage in that particular trigger or not to engage, depending on what kind of trigger is that. So as you start becoming aware, start demonstrating higher level of willpower, and that's how you either start disconnecting from habits which are not so functional, or on the other side, you start engaging with those actions which are quite functional, and you start developing those good habits or functional habits or productive habits. So this is what typically is the process of habit formation. Just ask yourself, go through this whole sequence once again and ask yourself, where can you take charge? Where can you become more powerful to demonstrate that you are the decision maker and not your environment? The more you are able to demonstrate that, the more you will be in charge of yourself, your time, your resources, and ultimately, what are we talking about? Ultimately, your experiences, your results. And that's what is all about changing the game of life. Understand this. To close what I am sharing with you, understand that first, you form your habits. First, you form your habits by doing things repetitively. And then your habits create your life, because you are engaging in those actions again and again. My dear friend, don't be surprised what life is creating for you, because you are the master who can create that.